Welcome to Doctoring the Truth, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on healthcare gone wrong. I'm your host, Jenna Tennell, and with me is my delightful co-host, Amanda House. We're two doctors of audiology here to bring you inside real-life cases where once trusted healthcare providers veered off the ethical path into criminal territory. Amanda!
Jenna!
Heyo!
Hi, Frank.
How you doing? How you doing, girl?
Thriving. Surviving. No, I'm doing really good.
Oh, good. How's our little baby Ellie cat?
Ham's doing good. Doing good. Thank you to everyone who has reached out to us on our social media telling me congrats on the baby. Very sweet.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. First of all, he looks like a little mini Adam. And second of all, his little chubby cheekies are just want to grab him and kiss him. He's so snuggly.
He's perfect. How you doing up north?
You know what? I'm almost ready to break out open toes because it's 30 something, and for our European listeners, we're not talking Celsius, okay? Don't get too crazy about it. We're talking Fahrenheit. But when you go to 30 above zero, it's honestly balmy compared to when you walk outside and your nose freezes shut.
Yeah.
That's I call it my nosometer. When you go outside and your nose goes and your little nares suctions close, okay, well, we're below zero. And then when you go outside, your nose suctions and your body says, I don't think I can make it from, 30 feet to the car. That's when you know it's like 40 below. So
all of these thresholds.
Honestly, if you add 70 degrees to that, which it's amazing. So that's the obligatory weather report. I'm also excited because I get federal holidays off, and Monday's a holiday, so I get to spend Valentine's Day with my sister. It's her birthday on Valentine's Day. She's a little heart baby. And her boyfriend and my parents and my daughter and my sister and my son and his fiance. So, Valentine's isn't all about necessarily having a romantic love, and I hope that for you, but sometimes it's just about spending time with loved ones.
Yeah. Aw, I'm glad you get that extra time with your fam.
Yeah. What are you planning on doing?
I have no plans. Just
yawn.
Me and my hubby and my baby and our little baby Raven, all of us at home. Everyone down here is kind of sick right now.
Oh, no. What do you mean everyone down here? In your house?
I think the neurovirus is going around. Yeah, in the area. It's like spreading like wildfire. So honestly, I don't really want to leave.
I don't blame you. There's nothing nastier than something coming out of both ends.
Oof, yeah. And new baby, we don't need him to get sick.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, so no, we don't have any plans. We're kind of in that phase of like, what day is it?
Yeah.
Because we've just been at home. So it's like, oh, it's Valentine's this weekend. Got it. Okay.
And you know what? Every day should be Valentine's Day when you're with your loved ones. So, forget about the commercialism of, you've got to have this, that, and the other. I'd rather have an experience than a thing any day of the week.
Yeah.
And that experience is often just some of the most simple things, like just spending some quality time together. So, yeah, that's good. On another note, I'm super happy because I don't do sports, but I was born in Washington State, and I've always been a fan of the Seahawks.
Oh, yes.
Our football team. And for our overseas listeners, we know it's not real football. It's American football, which is real American football, but they've really only ever won the Super Bowl once.
Yeah, 2014. You said that, I think. You told me that.
Yeah, and I don't think they even were invited to the Super Bowl any other time. I might be wrong. We may have a correction next week. So this was momentous. And there's a guy on the team with hearing loss, and Kenneth Walker was so fast, and I just loved the whole thing. So, I mean, the Patriots have had a lot of wins, so I was really, really happy. And first of all, I love Green Day. Second of all, Bad Bunny, loved that whole cultural Puerto Rican experience. And, just knowing that America is rich in cultural diversity like that was really, really timely and really, really cool to see. Although I asked my mom what she thought of the halftime show, because there was a lot of Latin dancing. It's steamy, it's romantic. There were some butt cheeks a waving. Hey, shout out to my mom because she listens. Her first response was, "Well, there was a lot of booties." There's a lot of booties moving around.
I didn't see it because I'm a new mom, and so honestly, I slept through a lot of the Super Bowl. But I did see, obviously on social media and stuff, videos, and so there was a lot of booty popping. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't be able to pop mine like that. So
that was just the beginning, but no. But then it was almost like a musical. Like he went through the fields, like to represent like the harvest and cultivation that they do, and then like the barrio where like the old guys are playing card games or chess or whatever, and like it just kind of brought it through this whole cultural experience. I thought it was really cool. So, and it was all in Spanish. And if you think about it, more than 20% of America speaks Spanish. So I think it was really good for people to kind of stretch their comfort level. We tend to spoon feed people their experiences, and so this kind of challenged that. And I love that. I love that for us. So, when I was growing up, it was like all about the sports in school, and the foreign languages and stuff like that were like, whatever. But I mean, they're equally as important. So I enjoyed that. But this in no way reflects that, but we do have a correction section. We going to do the correction section now, or you want to talk about? Let's do the correction section now. So I have a confession. It should be the confession section. You're like, I don't know what she's going on about.
Okay. I'm just listening as everyone else right now because I don't know what is going on.
Okay, so last week I talked about losing to a ninth grader.
Yes.
Boo. With my chili recipe. And I said, I had to make, what did I say? Like 8 gallons of chili.
Yeah, gallons on gallons.
8 gallons of chili. Shout out to the metric system because I think it makes a lot more sense because I confuse gallons for quarts. Anyway, I made 2 crock pots.
Do you see why I was like, that's an F ton of chili? Like, and you had how many people in this competition? Like, okay. Now do you see why I was so blown away? Like, wow, that's a lot of chili.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, but can I still get some credit for the fact that it's still a lot of chili? It was 2 large crock pots full of chili.
It's still a lot of chili.
But it was not, so it was probably 8 quarts and not 8 gallons of chili.
Yeah. Do you know how it would be expensive to make all that chili?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't cheap already, but can you imagine how it would have been? Yeah.
No.
So after your little...
Well, if anyone else was blown away by that, don't worry, guys. She had the wrong measuring system.
Listen, you can still be blown away because let's be blown away that I didn't spill it like a la Kevin in The Office scene where he brings in the stock pot of chili and spills it in the lobby.
So they were probably like, that's what Americans make for a chili cook-off, 8 gallons a person. Like, no wonder everybody's overweight.
No wonder everybody's fat. No.
Everyone gets their own cake pan of cornbread.
Yeah. So it wasn't supersized. But in my mind, it was a lot. So maybe it was a little hyperbole. Maybe it was a little me not understanding the math. So there you go.
I don't math, so you did well.
No, I didn't. I lied, but I didn't mean to. So that's my correction.
Well, you had a confession session, so it's fine. Okay. Well, honestly, the sponsors and the confession session are going to be the only fun part of this entire episode.
Oh,
So we'll
dear.
have fun with those. And then I tried to pick a more lighthearted medical mishap too, because again, this is a doozy. So let's enjoy these sponsors while we have them. Sponsor numero uno, Handful Activewear. We've heard about them. We love them. I have their bras. Love them. Thinking about dabbling into the old leggings because, you know, I'm now joining everyone in the New Year's resolution era of, I don't know, New Year, new me, working out because I'm no longer pregnant. So, Handful Activewear has redefined what women's activewear should be. They are all designed by women for women. And they have sports bras and compression leggings that are made to move with you, no matter how you work out or live your life. From yoga and running to strength training and everything in between, this is gear that adapts, supports, and performs. Each piece is crafted with moisture-wicking fabric, serious support, which we love, and a sleek, flattering fit that looks just as good outside the gym as it does inside. Handful stands out by creating multifunctional activewear that empowers women to feel strong, confident, and comfortable all day long. Once you try Handful, you'll feel the difference. Can confirm with the bras. Upgrade your activewear and experience the freedom to move, perform, and live without limits. Shop Handful Activewear now at handful.com and use our code STAYSUSPICIOUS for a whopping 30% off.
I love that 30% off. That's awesome.
I know. That's seriously like a Black Friday deal these days. Black Friday is not what it used to be.
No.
Ugh. As always, resources will be in the show notes. Trigger warnings for this case are sexual assault of minors, abuse of unconscious patients, and animal abuse.
Oh, no. You weren't kidding that this is a doozy.
No, it's disgusting. It's horrible. It was hard to read about some of it. It's gross. But yeah.
It's important. It's important to know about. Yeah.
This case was sent to me by a friend to cover. I don't know if I should say their name or not. So, friend, I love you so much. Thank you for being a dedicated listener on the pod. So, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Imagine waking up from anesthesia. You're groggy, you're sore, you assume everything that happened to you while you were unconscious was medical, necessary, and professional. Now imagine being told years later that while you were sedated in a dental chair, someone violated you. And you never knew. No memory, no pain signal, no moment where your body could tell you that something was wrong because you were unconscious. Because you trusted the people in that room, and because the system worked exactly the way it was designed to.
My worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm. This is the story of Cody Alan Stolfa, a former dental assistant in Oklahoma, in a case that forces us to confront one of the most uncomfortable truths in healthcare, that sometimes the most dangerous moment for a patient is when they're completely powerless. Before we continue, I again want to be clear, this episode contains discussion of sexual assault, abuse of unconscious patients, crimes involving minors, and a brief mention of animal abuse. I'm not going to share any graphic details, but the material itself is very heavy, so listener discretion is advised. We cover a lot of medical crimes on this podcast, which includes negligence, fraud, cover-ups, etc., but this case is different. It's a tough one, because these patients didn't even know that they were victims, and there was no moment where something felt wrong. No voice in the back of their head saying, I should report this. There were no red flags, and that's what makes sedation such a perfect weapon for a monster.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Let's talk about who this monster is and why no one ever suspected him. Cody Alan Stolfa, a 36-year-old male who lived in Stillwater, Oklahoma. He wasn't a dentist. He wasn't a surgeon. He didn't own the practice. He was a dental assistant at Central Oklahoma Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery Associates, a clinic where patients routinely underwent procedures requiring IV sedation. And that distinction matters because dental assistants occupy a very specific space in healthcare. They are trusted, they're familiar, they're the ones adjusting the chair, monitoring vitals, moving in and out of the room. They're close to the patient, but rarely questioned, especially when the patient is unconscious. Let's review what a dental assistant's role actually is, and as confirmed by friends and my sister-in-law who are in the dental field. So, a dental assistant is there to support the dentist, not to independently treat or manage patients. Their core responsibilities include chairside assisting during procedures, which includes handing instruments to the dentist, operating suction and keeping the field dry, retracing cheeks and tongue so the dentist can see, and mixing materials like fillings, cements, and impression materials. They do patient prep and support, such as bringing the patient back to the room, reviewing medical history, taking x-rays if they're certified to do so, placing bibs, topical numbing gels, and can monitor the patient for comfort. They have a hand in infection control by sterilizing instruments and turning over rooms between patients. A hand in documentation by charting procedures, materials used, and the dentist's instructions. And they also sometimes have post-operative tasks, such as giving standardized aftercare instructions and scheduling follow-up appointments. Dental assistants do not diagnose, create treatment plans, or perform irreversible procedures on their own. They work under the dentist's supervision, and legally, the dentist is responsible for the care. So, when someone is sedated, the power dynamic shifts completely. As we know, when someone is sedated, they can't speak, they can't move, they can't object. Anyone in the room is operating on the honor system. There are no body cameras, no consent updates, and often no continuous supervision. So when I say abuse of trust, this is exactly what this case was. Between June and September of 2021, that trust was violated over and over again. There were assaults that happened while patients were sedated for dental procedures. They were unconscious and completely incapacitated. According to court records, Cody Stolfa sexually assaulted them during that time. At least 15 victims have been identified. Some sources say there were 18 victims and some 16. I mean, the numbers varied. Either way, it's too many. They were young men, and some of them were even minors. They ranged in age from 15 to 23 years old. And here's the part that's hard to wrap your head around. None of them knew. At this point, a lot of you may be asking the same question. Who were the victims? Because that question makes sense. And I wish I could highlight what wonderful humans they are, because in most true crime cases, names become part of the narrative. But in this case, there are no names. This is also a very recent case, with Stolfa pleading guilty just last month in January and sentencing scheduled for this upcoming March 3rd.
Oh, wow.
As of now, none of the victims in this case have been publicly identified. There have been no names released by prosecutors, no names in court filings that were made public, and nothing reported to the media. And this is likely intentional because these were sexual assaults, and some of the victims, again, were minors at the time. They didn't even know they had been assaulted until law enforcement told them.
Oh my gosh.
Some of the victims, being minors, likely plays that key role of why the identities have not been released. But if they had, of course, we would be highlighting how wonderful they are, because we love to highlight that instead of the monster. But in this case, we can't. The affidavits say Stolfa allegedly sexually assaulted, battered, abused, and or sodomized the victims. All of this happened while Stolfa was working as an assistant at Central Oklahoma Oral Maxillofacial Clinic, like I mentioned, in Stillwater, Oklahoma in 2021. So this is also recent.
Oh, it's recent, and how horrible. It's absolutely unspeakable.
What we do know is this. There were at least 15 to 18 victims. Again, different sources yielded different information, but again, too many. One is too many. They are all male. They were all sedated during dental procedures, some of them minors at the time, none of them able to consent or even be aware of what was happening. What matters here isn't who the victims are, it's what was done to them and how the system allowed it. Because the responsibility doesn't rest with the people who were unconscious in the dental chair. It rests with the people or the person who abused that access.
Yeah.
We often talk about trauma as something that people remember, but what happens when trauma exists without memory? When the violation is real, but the body never had a chance to respond. These patients walked out of a clinic believing they received routine dental care and went on with their lives. For years, no one known what had been done to them. This wasn't an isolated incident. It wasn't a momentary lapse of judgment. It was repeated, deliberate, and documented. But Stolfa didn't just assault the patients, he recorded it.
Oh, no.
This case didn't come to light because a patient reported it. It came to light because of a video. In 2024, the FBI received a disturbing video via the messaging app Telegram. The video showed a man sexually assaulting an unconscious patient. The individual was identified as Cody Stolfa. According to reporting from The Independent, a person in Australia saw one of the videos on the Telegram app and alerted authorities there. Australian officials then passed the information to the U.S. law enforcement, including the FBI and local police in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The foreign investigators even used facial recognition and other techniques to link the person in the video to be Cody Stolfa, who was then arrested on July 10th, 2024, where he was held without bond. The video shared with the FBI showed one of the assaults, which then led to the discovery of additional videos in Stolfa's email. It's not publicly available who exactly sent the video to authorities or how it ended up on Telegram in the first place, but what we do know is that Stolfa uploaded the footage to the dark web for others to view. When he was arrested on what ended up being the first charge, the Stillwater Police Department got a search warrant and seized all of his phones and computers. What they found confirmed something much worse than a single crime. They found multiple videos and discovered there were multiple victims. Some of the material found involved minors, as you already know, up to 7 minors as reported by some resources. This wasn't hidden in a back room. It was stored, cataloged, and kept. It was noted to be a very long process of going through it all. Authorities say that he recorded himself committing, quote, crimes against nature, end quote.
Oh my God.
Court documents say investigators found other disturbing things on Stolfa's computers, including a 3.2 terabyte folder containing more than 10,000 files of child sexual abuse material on his computer and cell phone. I obviously have heard the words gigabyte and terabyte, but I knew that my husband would know, like, how big is that? So I asked Adam if a 3.2 terabyte folder was big, and he was like, yeah, that's huge. He then put it into perspective for me that a DVD is 4.7 gigabytes, and there are 1,000 gigabytes in a terabyte.
Oh my goodness.
So when he did some quick math, he found out that a 3.2 terabyte folder would be equivalent to 698 DVDs. Holy shit.
That would be about 1,070 hours of video. So Amanda's audio distorted and then cut out, but I think this data that she brought up is super important. So I'm just interjecting here. If we're talking about images, it would be 640,000 images that he had or could potentially have had. And if the images, that was if the images were set to high quality. If a normal camera, like a cell phone camera or JPEG camera was used, it could be anywhere from 600,000 to 1.5 million images. I'm really glad that Adam was able to provide that perspective because it just sounds big, but when you think about how many movies worth or how many images.
Stolfa filmed himself while inappropriately touching himself and the patients while they were recovering from sedation post-surgery.
Oh my gosh. It's shocking.
On one of his devices, investigators found a folder marked naughty. And that folder contained 115 additional videos showing Stolfa recording himself as he allegedly sexually assaulted the 15 plus other patients.
Astronomical. Oh, wow.
I know, it's like my stomach just keeps turning over and over. Authorities also recovered Stolfa's communications from the dating app Grindr, as well as messages exchanged through Snapchat and Discord. Investigators allege that Stolfa offered individuals he spoke with access to this 2 terabyte online storage folder that contained the child sexual abuse material. He is further accused of directly sharing such material through private messages, including a sexually explicit image of a 16-year-old boy whom Stolfa reportedly claimed he knew from Stillwater. Court records also detailed additional homemade videos located on Stolfa's devices. According to investigators, those videos allegedly show him repeatedly engaging in acts described as, again, crimes against nature involving an animal.
This is like a nightmare. This can't be true.
I know, this is like heavy.
That there's a human being out there like this. Oh my God, I just don't even have words for how despicable this is.
Yeah, it's like my stomach's turning right along with all of your guys's. So all of this wasn't hidden in a back room somewhere. It was stored, cataloged, and kept, like I said. Disgusting. That one video changed everything. It turned an invisible crime into an undeniable one, and it started a process that would eventually force victims to confront a truth that they never expected to hear, that while they were unconscious, they were not safe. How do you tell someone that they were assaulted when they have no memory of it? And what does justice even look like when the crime happened years ago in a place that was supposed to heal them? I think the truth is that there's no good way to tell anyone that. There's no script, no protocol, no gentle version. Years after these dental appointments, law enforcement began contacting patients. And can you even imagine being contacted by law enforcement, A, at all, but B, that they weren't like calling you to ask you questions, but rather they wanted to tell you that you were someone that already had something happen to you? I cannot. I cannot imagine. Imagine answering that phone and hearing a federal agent say the words, "You were the victim of sexual assaults."
I can't imagine.
I'm sure the first response is confusion.
Oh, it's awful.
Because you wouldn't remember anything like that happening, most especially not at the dental office. But as far as you know, you went in for a dental surgery, you woke up sore and groggy, but you were fine. And then they explained to you that while you were sedated, someone in that dental office violated you. This kind of trauma is uniquely destabilizing. There's no memory to process, just a fact that you now have to live with. Your body was involved, but your mind was absent. That has got to create some kind of psychological whiplash. Victims have described feeling detached from their own bodies afterwards, questioning every medical experience they've ever had, wondering what else they might not remember. As I've mentioned over and over again, some of the victims were minors at the time of assaults, which adds another layer of gravity and another layer of legal consequence. These were young people placed under sedation by adults that they were taught to trust, and that trust was exploited in the most heinous way. Well, shall we just pop over to a chart note real fast?
We should do a chart note to break up this sadness and disgust. We're going to do a chart
note. Chart note. Chart note. Just a little extra charty chart note.
Oh my gosh.
Because this
horrible.
sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but there's been a lot of buzz online lately about something called a Russian cancer vaccine. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh. Well, there's a lot of buzz online about it. Some headlines even calling it a breakthrough, others calling it a miracle cure. So let's slow this excitement down and talk about what's actually known and what isn't. Let's call this a possible medical misinformation instead of chart note, because as we know, when someone is desperate, they'll go to great lengths to get what they need. First, when you hear the word vaccine, your brain probably goes to prevention, like a flu shot or the Tdap vaccine. But this is not that kind of vaccine. What Russia is talking about is a therapeutic cancer vaccine. That means it's designed to treat cancer after someone already has it, not prevent it from developing in the first place. The vaccine that's getting attention is often referred to as enteromix. According to Russian health officials, it's an experimental treatment that uses mRNA technology, the same general platform used in some COVID vaccines, but applied in a very different way. The idea is this: cancer cells hide from the immune system. A therapeutic cancer vaccine tries to train the immune system to recognize a person's specific tumor as a threat and then attack it. In theory, it's personalized medicine. In practice, it's extremely complex. Russian agencies have said this vaccine has shown promising results in early testing, including animal studies and very small human trials. They've claimed tumor growth has slowed, and in some cases, tumors shrank. And that is where the excitement comes from. But this is also where caution comes in. Despite some dramatic headlines floating around, including claims of 100% effectiveness, there is no publicly available peer-reviewed data backing those numbers up. As of now, there are no large Phase 2 or Phase 3 clinical trials published in international medical journals. There's no long-term data showing survival benefits across large patient populations, and there's no independent verification from outside researchers who can review the raw data. But that doesn't mean that the science is fake. It just means it's early. And early cancer research can look very promising until it isn't. I mean, how long have we been trying to cure cancer, guys? Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I wish it was cured. But cancer isn't one disease. It's hundreds of different diseases, each behaving differently in each body. A treatment that works incredibly well for one patient or one cancer type might not do anything for another. That's why researchers around the world are exploring therapeutic cancer vaccines. This isn't a uniquely Russian idea, but what is unique is how quickly this particular announcement jumped from early research to cancer cure in the headlines.
Oh, boy.
Another important thing to understand is regulation. Even if this vaccine moves forward in Russia, that doesn't mean it's approved elsewhere. For something like this to be used broadly in countries like the United States or across Europe, it would need to go through years of additional testing and regulatory review. So where does this leave us? Here's the bottom line. There is no proven cancer cure here. There is an experimental therapeutic vaccine that might show promise in early stages, and there's a lot of hype racing far ahead of science. For patients and families dealing with cancer, that hype can be dangerous, as we've discussed on this podcast over and over again.
Yeah.
I have personally lost someone that I loved so deeply to cancer, and I would have given anything to give them an opportunity for a miracle cure. So I get the hype. I get it. Hope is powerful, but false hope can cause harm. The story worth watching isn't whether this is a miracle cure, it's whether transparent, large-scale clinical trials happen and whether independent scientists can evaluate the data with results holding up over time. Because in medicine, especially oncology, the phrase promising early results is only the beginning, not the ending. If and when more rigorous data emerges, that's when the conversation truly changes.
Thank you for bringing that up, that this is something that shows a lot of promise, especially when people are desperate for a cure. And I can't say I wouldn't jump on it if it were my own family member or loved one. However, as you point out, it can raise false hope, which, as we've talked about in the past with false cancer promise, like cure promises, it delays like a person like wrapping up the necessary in their life, like saying goodbye to their loved ones, having those moments that they need in order to like basically have closure. But also some of these cancer cures that haven't been proven are actually worse for their health than if they hadn't undergone the treatment. So, I know the FDA seems to take longer than everybody else in the world, but there's a reason for that. I mean, we're trying to be rigorous and use actual scientific evidence that this is not only helpful, but it's not harmful. So, thank you for bringing that up. It's pretty poignant. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's kind of a Debbie Downer.
This is a Debbie Downer episode, but
chart note too, to add to the, friggin' everything else. But
listen, It's actually a puff of sunshine
truly.
and happiness compared to the rest of the stuff you're talking about today. But this is why we do this. We need people to be aware of what's out there and what's happened in healthcare,
and not every exciting headline means that that's actually what it is.
Yes, I think we are learning how to be critical thinkers when it comes to healthcare. I mean, I'm learning every episode we do. I'm learning, like, how to look at something critically. Where are the resources? How do I know that this is something that I can trust? Because our motto, stay suspicious, isn't just a casual cavalier motto. It is, listen, there's stuff that you need to be critically thinking about, and then there's some wonderful things in healthcare. So yeah, I think.
And when we have quick access to everything at our fingertips all the time, and if you're scrolling on social media, and I follow like medical things on social media, I might just quickly scroll and like, oh, this came up. Oh my gosh, look, they have a vaccine for cancer now. Cool. And keep scrolling without digging more into that.
Yeah. And then you recommend your relatives or your friends, oh, you got to do this. And I will say, increasingly, as we've talked about in the chart note in episodes in the past, that AI is getting increasingly involved. But I will say, one of my favorite podcasts, I think it was, I can't remember if it was Morbid or if it was like, I think it was My Favorite Murder. But basically, she asked AI, because somebody had said they had a 6-inch gash or something, some kind of cut or something. And so she's like, what is 6 inches look like? Like, give me and so it's, its first answer was like a baseball or a tennis ball. Oh. I'm like, what? And then its second answer was like the width of a dollar bill. What? That's not 6 inches. And then its third answer was almost worse than the rest, because it said half a 12-inch ruler.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, AI is promising, and we can guide it and use it in ways that we supervise. But like when you ask it a question like that, which is a banal, like should be like pretty easy answer, you're getting some flat out misinformation, and then some like idiot like, yeah, it's half a ruler, but I needed an object to like reference it by. So I don't know. I digress, but thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well, unfortunately, we're going back to the story.
Yeah, here. I think I was stalling.
Yeah. Stall no more. We have to finish this. All right. In January of this year, 2026, Cody Stolfa appeared in Payne County District Court. Instead of taking this case to trial, he pleaded guilty. He didn't plead guilty to just 1 or 2 charges. No. He pleaded guilty to 33 felony counts.
33?
33. The charges included, but were not limited to, 10 counts of sexual battery, 5 counts of forcible sodomy, 6 counts of child exploitation, 4 counts of clandestine recording, 2 counts of sodomy of a victim under 16, and 1 count of lewd acts to a child. I also found some other charges that were listed, many of these things, but another one had said first-degree rape. I don't know where that fits in the sexual battery, but in case that's something different, that was also mentioned.
And can I just say, if he volunteered these as his guilty pleas, there's got to be so many more.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I should probably wait till the end.
So many terabytes of things.
Right, exactly. I mean, the terabytes are enough to like throw him away for life. But how many years was he at this practice?
It was just June to September.
Oh my God! Had he ever worked anywhere?
And then he was fired. He was fired.
Did he work as are some of these charges from other jobs?
But I can't say that for sure. I don't know that for sure. I know that the video that was shared and sent to the U.S. from the Australian officials, that had taken place at this oromaxillofacial associates clinic.
And he's quite young, right? He's in his 30s?
36.
Prolific. Not a good sign.
Yeah.
I mean, not a good sign in any circumstance, but certainly somebody who is not going to stop.
My guess is that the 15 to 18 victims, that all happened at this dental clinic.
In 3 months.
But
in 3 months. Oh my gosh.
3 months. And think like you started there. So you had your period of like, I'm getting trained in at my new job and like
the honeymoon period. Like, where you're not left alone. Yeah.
And I didn't see what he was fired for or anything like that. That might be a lie. I think I did see like he just wasn't up to snuff, maybe. It had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah, they just had a gut feeling. They had a gut feeling.
Everyone knew he's a puke. Yeah. Wait till you see his picture on social media, guys. You look at him and you know he's a puke.
I can't wait. Blech. I got to look at him. Okay, I'll wait.
So, a lot of counts. He pled guilty to all of them. Each of those counts represents a person, a moment, a violation. And Stolfa entered what's known as a blind plea, which I actually had no idea what that meant, but I'm going to tell you. That means that there was no sentencing agreement, no deal with prosecutors, and no guaranteed leniency. He placed his fate entirely in the hands of the judge. Prosecutors argued that the severity of the crimes warranted the harshest possible sentence. I agree. They are seeking life imprisonment, pointing to the number of victims, the abuse of trust, and the fact that these crimes would never have been discovered without digital evidence. We could not come to terms on an agreement. We didn't think that there should be anything less than life offered, Payne County District Attorney Laura Thomas said. We just don't see that this guy should ever be released. It's just really gross, she said. He's a very brazen, scary guy. I agree with that.
Yeah. I just laughed because she's like, it's just really gross.
It's just really gross. I know. I'm like, Laura, yeah, I get it. I understand.
It's more than gross. But yeah.
It's just really gross. There were comments on social media posts about this. You know how it's like, oh, news channel breaking, about like on Facebook and stuff now. So I was looking at one of those in Oklahoma, and the comments on this social media post on this story were some of them like, a dog gets put down for biting a child. Like, how is this guy not at least going to get life in prison, right? Yeah. Like a lot of them were like, he should get the death penalty. I don't think he'll be treated very well while incarcerated.
They don't tend to be, do they? There's that whole prison justice thing going on that I'm not mad about.
Right. So... Anyway, not here to argue death penalty or not, but I don't think he'll have a very pleasant time while incarcerated.
I do think so.
Interestingly, as this case was brought to light and investigations took place, it was revealed that he was also named as a suspect in a case that dated back to some other time in 2021, where someone reported a peeping Tom on Oklahoma State University's campus who was secretly taking explicit images inside a bathroom.
Oh, to quote Laura Thomas, gross.
And it goes on and on and on. Let's take a step back because Cody Stolfa didn't operate in a vacuum. Sedation is meant to protect patients from pain, but it also strips them of autonomy. Once you're unconscious, your safety depends entirely on everyone else in the room, and that system assumes no one will abuse that power. Dental surgery centers often don't have the same oversight as hospitals, as they have fewer staff, less monitoring, and often no chaperone policies during sedation. This creates an opportunity for creeps like Stolfa. In most cases, you must have at least, or not most cases, in most states, you must have at least 2 to 3 people in the room. But interestingly, in Oklahoma, you only need 1 if it's a child. That's so wild to me.
Yeah.
What?
That's crazy. If anything, just to be able to assist in an emergency, like one person to call for help and the other person to secure the airway, like, I don't know, doesn't make a lot of sense.
And I'm thinking too, like, if you even go to an appointment where there's any like a routine woman appointment, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you get like a pap smear or something, there are always 2 people in the room.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, now I'm touching your leg. Now I'm, it's, and the other person is there.
You're so just get on with it. All right. But
I know. I'm like, yeah, I know the drill.
How much more vulnerable is a child? Yeah.
Right. But also they're sedated.
Yeah.
Thomas said, so again, Laura Thomas, each of the videos depicting the assaults only lasted a few seconds. He'll look at the video when he's making the video, she said. And this all takes place in seconds because someone else could walk into the room at any minute. If that video had never surfaced, would this case exist at all? Would these victims ever have known? How long would he have continued to do this? She questioned. This case fits into a disturbing pattern that we've seen across healthcare disciplines. Predators gravitate towards environments where patients are vulnerable, authority is assumed, and silence is built into systems. Sedation makes resistance impossible, and delayed discovery makes accountability unlikely. Most victims don't report what they don't know happened.
Right.
It's that old saying of, you only know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And even when or if something feels off, patients often doubt themselves, especially in a medical setting, because that's where we're conditioned to trust.
Exactly.
Healthcare runs on trust, but trust without safeguards is dangerous. This case shows us what happens or what can happen when no one is watching and there are monsters lurking. The most unsettling part of this case isn't what Cody Stolfa did, it's how easily that it could have stayed hidden. No patient complaints, no suspicious behavior that was caught in the moment, just unconscious people and unchecked access. If there's one thing this case teaches us, it's this. Consent doesn't disappear because someone is sedated, and safety shouldn't either. The scariest of crimes aren't always the ones that leave visible wounds. Sometimes they leave silence.
Oh, Amanda. Damn it. Well, first of all, thank goodness he recorded these things.
I know. And whatever sadistic, weird, fucking fucked up that you had to then share it on the dark web.
Those were his, trophies. Yeah. They were, even though, yeah. So who knows, even if he had recorded them and not shared them on the dark web, maybe they wouldn't have been caught, but at least there was irrefutable evidence, which was his undoing. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, file just named Naughty. Your whole computer's naughty. Are you lying
naughty?
Right now?
Somebody said he was naughty. Yeah, no. 1,000 hours of illicit, disturbing, horrible, illegal content. And that's just what was on video. Imagine what he got up to. And I do want to shout out episode 24, where I talked about Dr. Squarneck, who was the most prolific pedophile surgeon in France. And he did similar things where he would assault people in the operating room. I felt like he almost thought it was a challenge. Like, these people are going through abdominal surgery. So obviously there are a lot of people there, and if someone turned around or they're closing up, that's when he would violate someone, and he felt like it was a victory. He would go into their hospital rooms when there wasn't anyone around to observe and violate them. And the reason he got caught is because he was showing his junk at a neighbor kid across the fence, like he lost his mind. And they started looking into him, and then they got a warrant. He had a whole house of horrors, but also he had a diary where he meticulously, so this is his equivalent to a video, meticulously outlined every assault he'd ever done on anyone who was unconscious. And when you say, it is a quandary, like, should the law enforcement open up some kind of emotional trauma by telling patients they were assaulted when they didn't even know it? Well, a lot of these victims in this story with Dr. Squarneck were relieved almost. I mean, obviously it's devastating news, but they were relieved because they were like, I've never been the same since the such and such surgery. Like, I've always felt something. Yeah.
It's like a part of my mind knew something happened, but I had nothing to tie that to.
So you don't have to necessarily be conscious to have trauma from the assault. Mm-hmm. So I think they did the right thing. I think it's absolutely egregious, and I am so disgusted that if this is what we know about, how many times has this happened, not just with this person, but with others that we don't know about, because people were unconscious and they go about their lives feeling unsettled or different in some way or traumatized, but they can't articulate it because they've never been given that information. And not everybody. Maybe some people don't even know, but would you want to know?
I'm like, I would work through it with my therapist. I'd have to.
I would want to know. I would want to know. Yeah, I'd want to know. Like, if you didn't think if you thought life was groovy and everything was fine, but this had actually happened to you, would you want to know, or would you want to be blissfully ignorant? Because that, not knowing you had something.
I think I would personally want to know, but I think there's no right or wrong answer, which, because if you truly were blissfully unaware and not some of the people from the Schwarnick case where they're like, I just always kind of felt different, then for sure I would want to know because I could tie that together. But if you were just
so I think
living your best life and then this would be what crumbles you, then maybe you wouldn't want to know.
But ethically, knowing that you aren't able to know who's blissfully ignorant and who's affected in other ways that they don't realize why and can not connect the dots and validate their feelings, I think you have to go with disclosure.
Because you can't separate out those people either, because people aren't going to be talking about that. That's just going to be something they think about on their
Especially
own time.
if there's no evidence or no it's just some vague sense of not being right. How are you going to even articulate that? So
I think it's absolutely right ethically that all of them were notified. Just whether or not that person would have wanted to know or not.
Yeah, I know.
But
oh my gosh. Fascinating. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you for my friend for sharing it.
Thanks, friend. Yeah.
Thanks, friend. We love you.
So thank you. And so recent.
Let us think positive thoughts on March 3rd when his sentencing takes place, that he gets the harshest possible sentencing.
Yes. Can we do an update? Can you put it on your calendar or something that we do an update? What happened to him at our next podcast? Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's hope it is just and that he gets the maximum sentence.
Okay. Well, let's go to sponsor number 2. Light the old mood here. You heard it here last week, Alley Cats. Jenna hopped on the Cumin Club train and devoured her entire box of 10 delicious meals with her order. Making curries from scratch can take days and multiple trips to the grocery store, according to Jenna. I've never personally done it, but I know she has, and they are delicious. These meals can be made in 5 minutes or less, and oh my god, I can just smell it now. Yum.
Yum.
Alley Cats, you are also able to take advantage of our discount code so you can enjoy a world of authentic Indian flavors with meal kits expertly crafted to bring the rich, diverse taste of India straight into your kitchen. Cumin Club's curated recipes are free from preservatives and celebrate the vibrant traditions of Indian cuisine while catering to modern lifestyles. Embrace the essence of India with each meal and transform your dinner into a cultural journey. Head on over to thecuminclub.com for 30% off your order when you use our exclusive promo code STAYSUSPICIOUS at checkout. That's www.thecuminclub.com with promo code STAYSUSPICIOUS for 30% off.
I mean, that's 2 sponsors with 30% off in one episode.
I know.
That's amazing. Come on, guys.
We had to bring something positive to this episode.
That is amazing.
And a word about our sponsors. Producing a podcast isn't free. If you would like to support us, we earn commission when you use our promo code STAYSUSPICIOUS at checkout. It's a win-win. You get a great deal on a fabulous product, and we get to keep doing what we're doing because you're supporting our show.
Amen. Oh, is it time for a medical mishap? Did you like how I made it a little dirty?
I didn't sing along because I was just looking at it and I was like, wow, this is very short.
Medical mishap. My turn. Okay. Hi, Jenna and Amanda. I have mild... wow, it's really short. Hi, Jenna and Amanda. I have mild asthma and always carry my rescue inhaler. Oh, I get that. Same. One day I sneezed, grabbed my inhaler quickly, and took what I thought was a puff, except it was my partner's albuterol inhaler for their dog. Yep, the dog has its own prescription. I felt a little jittery. My heart raced for a few minutes, and then I realized what happened. Luckily, nothing serious occurred, just a very confused me, a slightly amused pharmacist, and a dog who never knew their inhaler had been yoinked. Now, every inhaler in our house has a giant label, human only. Signed, Robert. Robert, okay.
Oh,
listen, Robert, you don't mince words, first of all. There's no compliments. There's no, entering into this email. And you know what? You get right to the point, and we appreciate that about you.
I like it.
Absolutely. Who knew dogs needed a different level of albuterol than humans? Because I have an albuterol inhaler, so very, very interesting.
I will say we have filled our dog's prescriptions at a human pharmacy before, just because location wise it was easier for us to get it where we were. So it's a whole thing. The human pharmacy, the Walgreens had to call the vet and whatever. So when
I didn't know they would do that.
Yeah. Yep. And so when you go to Walgreens or wherever to fill up this prescription for an animal, it very clearly states on the label,
human
dog. It said dog, raven. So yeah, I thought that was really funny because it's
so
capital letters, dog, raven. Don't take, because I am pretty sure it was an antibiotic, something that doxycycline. I could swear that. And it's that's something that we would.
They're please don't take this. It's for the aminal. Yeah. It's for the animal.
It's for the aminal raven. Well, thank you, Robert. I feel like that's exactly what we needed to end on. So, Jenna, what can we expect to hear about next week?
Listen, we're going to learn about a psychopath test.
Oh.
And it's going to blow your effing socks off, because you don't want to miss this. You have no idea what the experiments that arose to come to this conclusion for this test actually entailed. You will not believe it. You do not want to miss this. It is crazy. So.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Whew. It's so exciting. I've got to finish a couple of books and write it, but hopefully we'll be on board by next week.
Minor details. You got 1 week to get your homework done.
All right. But meanwhile, Alley Cats, we want you to not miss a beat. Subscribe or follow Doctoring the Truth wherever you enjoy your podcasts for stories that shock, intrigue, and educate. Trust, after all, is a delicate thing. You can text us directly. Your story ideas on our website at doctoringthetruth@buzzsprout.com, or email us your comments at doctoringthetruth@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Doctoring the Truth Podcast and on Facebook at Doctoring the Truth. We're on TikTok at Doctoring the Truth and EdAudPod, EDAUDPOD. Don't forget to download, rate, and review. Please, 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 because if you don't say anything, it looks like we're doing nothing. So please, we don't get credit for our listeners being engaged unless you download. And we would love some ratings, only if they're good. And review our podcast so we can be sure to bring you more content. Until then, stay safe and stay suspicious. Bye.
I think Jenna should put her blooper in from the beginning now. So maybe there'll be a blooper here, maybe not. But either way.
Maybe not. It depends how embarrassed I am. Bye.
LOL, bye.
Bye.
3, 2, 1, goodbye.